topics to talk about. We got some topics to talk about. Let's see. As we set up a little bit so I can get to the control room. Let's go ahead and do our disclaimer. It's kind of early. Is it early? It's not really early, but it's early. It's feel like one of those days again. One of those days. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Where is... Alright. Excuse me. Disclaimer, the videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend the institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution that you're interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of Creator, Henry is only speaking from his experience. Let's rock out. Let's rock out. So, as that loads back up, and we are in a new month. Oh, we getting ready to transition to a new month too, which is wild, right? Which is very wild. Okay. Excuse me. So one of the stories that I see on here from Chronicle Higher Education, that I felt like that was eye-popping because it came back up. Of course, I wasn't live streaming at this time. This was back in February. So it says a frat was expelled after student died from hazing. So the school was Southern University, of course. The reason I wanted to talk about this was because, and obviously we know about this story, we should know the frat. We're really not gonna say the frat on camera, slash fraternity, but definitely it's in the African American community, of course. And so it said in February a student died after he was struck in his chest during a suspected hazing ritual. They said several others faced felony charges. So this is I felt like needed conversation, right? These are the things we don't talk about when kids go off to college. But the first thing that comes to mind is like when I go to college, I'm supposed to be safe. That's the first thing, right? That should come to mind. When a kid is going off to college, they are supposed to be safe. The college is supposed to be especially if it's a university, they're supposed to be safe. And it's just like it's like Fred's situation, right? These schools, I don't think these universities really take it in. I understand they can't watch every student. I'm being realistic on that. I understand they can't watch every student. But at the end of the day, shoot, they gotta have some type of protection for these kids, right? Like, it's really getting to the point where I just be like, this is why I say you should stay at home and like stay off campus, stay at home, or get your own apartment, or more of all, stay at home if you can. Just go to college if that college is near you. We seen like Trump brought it up with the young lady. I can't remember her name exactly. The young lady who died she was on the UGA, University of Georgia campus, while jogging, and the police was not around. It's always campus police on the campus. Nobody was around to help her. Why? She was jogging. It's baffling, and it's crazy that nobody was even there to report it or stop it or anything. And it's a campus. It's supposed to be safe. I just can't get over that. And then they charging these parents, these students, these whoever, their guardians, like they're charging them all these expensive and outrageous prices on campus, and they can't even keep the babies safe. You know, these are people babies. They can't even keep them safe. And so going back to the hazing, never join a fraternity, frat, sorority, that want to put their hands on you. It's giving me, how can I put it? It's giving me days of when I was in high school, or just how I grew up, that you just don't let people, you just don't do that. Like, to be in something, I just never understood that personally. I never understood it. And when I heard about it, because, I know people around me who they call it dropping out, I guess, dropping out or drop. When they drop out of the process of pledging, that's how it goes. And they dropped out of pledging because people want to put their hands on them, male and women. I heard the story from, and it's wild because let me tell you, the people that are doing that usually come from good backgrounds. They come from some type of backgrounds of wealth, lavishness, and to say they're going to put their hands on somebody, kid, to prove that they're worthy is crazy. I say that because, guys, I sound military. And when you go military, guys, we all go through basic training. Even in basic training, the military, we don't get that extensive. If they gonna let you put your hands on somebody, you gonna have to put your hands, like, they gonna let you put your hands back on them if you want to get that detail. And so it's crazy that somebody wants to put their hands on you, but you can't do nothing back. That's coward. That's just being coward. Never been a big fan of fraternities, sororities, only if they were doing those type of things, because I joined a co-ed myself at my 2 year. It was a FBLA. It was FBLA of, it was a FBLA. It was called Phi Beta Lambda FBLA, and it was co-ed, consisting of men and women. But we didn't do that. We didn't do none of that. And that was the whole point of me choosing something like that. And as I kept getting older and knew I was getting ready to, what's that word? Knew I was about to transfer, I knew that I didn't want to do that no more. And so for this young man to get his life taken, and it doesn't get attention. Most people, they'll sweep it under the rug and says that's just what comes with the territory of pledging, da 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 da. And for it to be a ritual, meaning they've been doing it, it's kind of just pathetic, to be honest. It says a lot about the culture. Going back to the Boondocks, it says a lot about the culture, right? It says a lot about everything, and it's cute. And so I just say that young man, his parents sent him off to college because it was him. His name was Caleb. His name was Caleb, and I did not know this young man When I talk about Fred, that's somebody I knew personally as a childhood friend. But his name was Caleb Wilson, to be exact. They put the name in the news outlet. Yeah, Caleb Wilson, young black scholar, being killed by his own kind. It's just like, man, when does it stop? If it's not in the poverty areas, it's in the schoolhouse. If it's not the schoolhouse, it's gonna always be a reason, right? It's just like, when does it stop? And so hopefully play that back. But Southern University student, of course, deceased from Hazing. He was trying to actually better his life, join an organization. He was trying to join an organization for connections, for a better life, a brotherhood, you know. But obviously, that wasn't a brotherhood that really loved him. And so I just hate it for that young man. And this happened back in February. It's just some people don't want to hear or admit to that needs to change. That needs to change. That needs to change. Yeah, that's crazy. But I did want to shed some light on that real quick for Caleb Wilson, because that story will be forgotten, as many stories are. They'll be forgotten unless they're brought back up in July. And so only most of the, I would say, real ones will remember that and acknowledge that, because that happened back in February. It's July now. And so from years to now, or years in the future, I hope we don't see another one. Hopefully it's not even, you can't even do that no more, because the Department of Education put a policy in place that hazing cannot happen. It's not supposed to happen no more, according to the Department of Higher Education. So all this relates back to who? You as a student. If you are being pressured to do things when hazing in the organization, or it feels like hazing, or seems like hazing, you don't have to do it. No connection, no amount of money that you're hopefully to get in the future. And again, connections, because when you join an organization, you do get a lot of connections. But no connection, money, or anything is worth your life. It's worth your life. I think we forget that Caleb Wilson went to college. He was an undergraduate. He didn't even make it past undergraduate. Because they did that to him. And his parents sent him off to college because that's the best thing they can do for his future. And imagine that your future being cut short because of hazing. You tried to do something positive and it turned into a negative. That is crazy. Why we don't protest that? That should have been protested by us. That should have been protested by us. That should have been a march or anything. Like, that should have been heavily sought after. And it just, if you are in a situation to be hazed, don't do it. Don't do it. Walk away. You can walk away. I know people that walked away. You can walk away and your life will be even better. Because what they still, the connection gonna be your connection. So I wanted to talk about that. Verse 15, I didn't know how long I was gonna go for, 15, 30, or 40. I didn't know how many minutes I was gonna go on. But that kid, Caleb Wilson, once again, he went to Southern University. I didn't know they put his name in the article or the news outlet. Passed away from hazing back in February. but I wasn't live streaming at the time. It just reminds me of Fred. When I see death in college or higher education, it just reminds me of my childhood peer that didn't really have the protection that a college or university should have gave him, or the misguidance, right? So, and that's also, yeah, we're gonna talk more about that. Definitely more articles related to hazing or college safety, because you always want to find a school that's going to be in your best interest for college safety. People don't think about that until things go bad, and there's been a lot of uncertainty with college safety. If my people been reading, because there's been campus shootings, there's been essentially domestic violence. It's you need to be aware of these things, and colleges don't tell you these, of course, at orientation. When you're searching for schools, you have to dig for these things unless it's that bad. It pops up when you look up the school. You have to be aware of these, because if it happens once and they don't tell you how they're adapting to the situation, you have to be mindful. Now think about it, guys. I went through school not thinking of these things. So you always want to be mindful. Always want to be mindful. Okay. So the next one we need to talk about is Xavier University's big enrollment drop. Xavier University big enrollment drop. Xavier University big enrollment drop. So they say right here, let me check. I seen some people leaving and coming. Let me see something right quick. I am having, it says average view direction is 16 minutes. Did I? Yeah, I got it on. Let me see. Always having some little troubleshooting in here. Okay, we have one. That's cool. I'll take one. I'll take one over everything. I'll take one. So, Xavier University anticipates a big enrollment drop per Chronicle Higher Education. So it says this is a private institution, actually. Let me see. I didn't know Xavier University was a private institution. For all my people out there, the Xavier University, do not get me, because I didn't know Xavier University, first and foremost, was in, what's this? Cincinnati, Ohio. I did not know that. I did not know Xavier University was out here. I played against a dude in high school. He was like 7 foot in basketball. He actually committed to this school. I don't know if he stayed long enough. Like, sometimes people leave. And it's a Catholic school. Oh, wow. I did not know that. Xavier University is a private, I don't know how to say that word. I don't want to mess it up. Let me see. Jesuit? Jesuit. So Xavier University is a private Jesuit university in Cincinnati, Ohio, United States. It is the 6th oldest Catholic and 4th oldest Jesuit university in the United States. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know Xavier. I seen this school obviously in sports. Once again, that's how I learned most of my colleges, but not in detail of what they provide in education. So I didn't know that. And they're saying Xavier University expects a big enrollment drop. The private institution is preparing to lay off. I think I have the article up right here, or the news. Yeah, they're saying that. Let's go right here. So I gotta keep sliding over. It's preparing to lay off 2 executives and cut temporary workers as it expects its freshman class to shrink to 800 students, down from almost 1,000 last year. So, and Xavier University, guys, is seeing a shrinkage in students by 200. They had 1,000 last year. Now their freshman class is going to be only 800. And they said they're laying off 2 executives. Once again, when the enrollment drops, when a big enrollment drops like that, they consider that big enrollment drop. It's not good because, like I said, the execs make a lot of money. So for them to lay off 2 executives, they say they're laying off 2 executives. For them to lay off 2 executives is a big deal. And why it's important for you as a student? Once again, it shows you how much power a student has. And students are not trying to go to expensive schools. At Xavier University, I know it's expensive without looking at their tuition and fees, because they have what I'm looking for. They have expensive prices because they're a private school. That's how I know that. I was looking at and reading. I was like, but they're a private school. Usually when they're private and they're Catholic on top of that too. It's a very religious school. Once again, we just talked about religious schools yesterday. And we talked about how these schools are not safe right now in these uncertain times. And so with that big enrollment drop, according to this, who is this? Local 12 News, okay? And when they're seeing a decline in enrollment numbers, that's always a sign that a school could go out of business. They can, yeah, they can go out of business. They can not be looking well for them. So Xavier University announced plans to reduce its workforce. Xavier University announced plans to reduce its workforce this year due to declining enrollment numbers. They said a university spokesperson said the job cuts will not impact full-time faculty, but will affect temporary workers in 2 executive positions. And I'm pretty sure those 2 executive positions made a lot of money. Come on now. Ugh, this local news. This is a terrible website. They got everything on here. And it does not look right. So it says last year, the university once again welcomed 1,000 students. However, they only have an 800 freshmen when classes resume in August. And that's it. That's really it. That's really short. Really short. They could have put more information out on that. So I don't know who their 2 executives were. I thought they were gonna be in detail who the execs were. But as we keep seeing the enrollment numbers decline and universities keep losing students a lot, we might see some bigger schools. Like Xavier University is a very big school, so we might start seeing, you might hear your first big school be closed down one day. I'm not gonna say right now it's gonna be a type of school that we expect or know of heavily to close down, but I would say that we could see, like, if they keep enrollment keep dropping, like, the thing you have to think about is, like, people always think like, oh, if our enrollment went up this year, that means it can go up higher next year, it can go up higher again next year, right? And then if it goes down 200 this upcoming year, right, they lost 200 students this upcoming fall semester, then who's to say they can lose another 200 that next year, right? That's always possible, to keep losing and losing. This is their freshman class coming in. So while they're recruiting athletes, they should probably focus more on, because they have a very good athletic program in basketball, they're pretty good. But I would say instead of focusing on getting athletes, they should focus on getting academics. They should try to get these. I'm telling you, colleges, universities will have to recruit these academic kids. Academic kids are starting to realize their true value and meaning out here. And they understand that, look, I'm not trying to go somewhere where I'm not appreciated. I'm not trying to go somewhere y'all don't really want to give me or help me get a good paying job once I leave college. Real academic students, when I met some academic students at Georgia Tech, them real students, and students like the person that be in my live chat, they are really considering how they can get a job when they get out of school. They are really considering like, hey, what is my pay gonna look like when I get out of when I leave your institution? What is my return on investment? Why? Because you got these academic students who are coming up in their freshman year, or they might be in their sophomore, junior year, and they're like, I want to have a lavish lifestyle. But if you're not going to guarantee me a nice paying job after I leave your institution, after I brought, because once they get one kid coming in, they can get other kids. It's gonna start being word of mouth, and that's the best type of students you want. They're like, yeah, how is it over there? Because kids got, you got to think if a freshman comes in, they still got peers in high school. So when they have peers in high school, they're like, hey, how is it up there at this school right now? We're talking about Xavier University. They're like, how is it at Xavier University? They're gonna be like, oh, it's great. They put me in connections with do. They saying I can have a job making this when I get out, and da, right? And they're like, whoa, I need to apply and get in there. Can you give me a recommendation? Then boom. Then that's how your enrollment keep going. And so, but the kids want lavish lifestyles. You think we don't know that there was a housing crisis in 2008, or our grandparents or parents for some of us, or grandparents for some, lost their pensions in '08. Some of them lost their jobs. Some of them lost their lifetime savings. Like, the kids are savvy these days. But like I said, higher education, which I gotta stand on and repeat as a hook. What's up, G? As I gotta repeat as a hook of a song, is that you have to change and adapt, and at these universities. Um, Kids are getting smarter. They have more. They have more. That microphone is scratching a little bit. It is. That's not good. Hold on. Let me see. Part of this. Let me see. Is it still scratching, G? Is it still scratching? Because I could take it out and just use nothing, really. I really can use just mine. Because I don't know what I did with my white headphones. They were here. They probably still in the car, actually. Probably in the car. How it sound now, G, before I keep going? As we wait on G and wait on my computer. Hey, it's not update my chat as fast. Troubleshooting. That's why we love to chat. Because we can fix ourselves while they talk to us. They tell us what's going on with the mic. I'm trying to see right here. And then I'll do that. As we wait. How the microphone sound now, G? That's what I'm trying to see now. Let me know how it sounds, G. What we can do, just in case. I can do this. So I took the headphones off. Y'all might hear more surround sound, but I know it's gonna be very clear because I did one video, one live stream when we had my special guest on, Justin Carter, when we had him on. So we're gonna go no mic today, and then I can figure that out. So I've been pretty good though, G. We're talking about how Xavier University is losing students. They lost 200, which is a lot, and they're probably gonna lose. And I'm speculating that they can lose a lot more in the coming years. Definitely not in the coming years, like next fall, maybe next spring, because people forget students do leave after their first year. A lot of students, especially down like how it's going, they will leave. And so Xavier University did not take long. I thought it was gonna be a longer article, a longer topic, but not as really. But it's okay. So I want to save the last one. And some, of course, there's always some other stories I don't put in the headlines because Harvard, that one right there, that might be long, but it's interesting what they got going on over there, or what's going on in court at least. So the next one I wanted to talk about, where is it? Because I thought about it. Where is it? It was pertaining to the National Science Research Fund, or not National Science Foundation, NSF. All right, that's what I want to talk about. So they said, so senators, the Senate Committee on Appropriations last week voted to keep funding nearly even for the National Science Foundation, which is very important, guys, for my people out there who do research in this organization. So that means pretty much nothing is going to change. Everything is going to stay the same. That's what they're speculating. And so by that they said approving let me open up the article. By approving 9 billion for a 2026 fiscal year, and rejecting a White House proposal to slash spending to 3.7 billion. So they were going to drop to 3.7 billion, but they get to keep their 9 billion, which makes a big difference. Because remember what I said, guys, when I don't know exactly what the National Science Foundation does exactly, but I'm pretty sure they expand on science because they got national science. So I'm pretty sure they expand on science to make sure we get the research and understanding we need. So like rare minerals, other valuable science things that I don't know, because I'm not gonna say here like I know exactly what they do. I have an idea, but probably I don't know exactly what they do. I know they research, and so remember that research is what goes back into schoolhouses, college schoolhouses, and so that's good that they get to keep that. But it said the spending level would still need to be approved from the full Senate and the House of Representatives, where a subcommittee has proposed spending just 7 billion for the NSF. So they still could possibly lose 2 billion. Better than going to 3 points. How much? What's the difference on that? Hold on, 9 billion. 9 minus 3.7. That should be like 5 point, yeah. So 5.3 billion. So 7 billion is better than 5.3 billion any day, right? It says, but science advocates still cheered the development after months of canceled grants and attempted cuts since President Trump took office. So to get some clarity, when NSF first had the so-called cuts, it really was on hold. They didn't lose their money. Grants got canceled for sure. We felt that grants got canceled. Things got on hold. Some people lost their jobs or probably got their jobs back now. It's just a lot of like back and forth. If you ask me, it's a lot of back and forth. Just like Department of Education. People got laid off. The 1,400 people got laid off. Then they said, well, you can't lay them off like that. It goes against their civil rights. So you got to bring them back. And then you bring them back just for them to say, look, it got passed. Now you can actually continue with firing them. So then they left again. Essentially, but word in the hallway is that people just been deciding to stay and work. They've been telling people to work remote instead of coming back and forth to work at the Department of Education in Washington. I'm assuming it's in Washington. I hope it's not other ones, of course. Spread it out. And where is the article that we pulled up? All right. So Trump proposed slashing the National Science Foundation's budget. A key Senate committee just refused. So this is by have some grace with me too, guys. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone again. with the NSF, because National Science Foundation is not really a heavy topic, but we really just know that research is really fundamental and very important. That's just a fundamental no. And so we read that right there. This is, when did they write this? They wrote this July 18th, and they posted this today. So this we wrote July 18th. So okay, we got people. Oh, people been protesting. So it says right here, protesters rally against the Trump administration proposed funding cuts. It's a picture. Proposed funding cuts to research on April 8th at UCLA. So, okay, we boom. It says the Trump administration moved the slash. We talked about that. Moved the slash science funding has to run in. But some of these, I want to do a highlight. I do want to shout out these signs. It says kill the cuts, save science, fund science. What they mean by kill the cuts, save lives? Kill the cuts. Oh, kill the cuts. Like, don't do the cuts. Get rid of the cuts, and you save some lives with science. Okay, I got you now. I had a little slow moment right there. I had a slow moment. I was like, kill the cuts. I was like, no, you good, G. You can hear me good, though? You good, you good. You can hear me clear? I took the microphone out. Yeah, I took it out because I didn't hear you respond to me. So I just took it out. And I didn't want nobody else new coming in. And then they see like, oh, he is having static in his microphone. And they don't know what's going on. So I took it out. I took it out. And then for everybody in here, I see we got 5 people in here right now. Yeah, it's still scratching. That's the that's probably YouTube then. It gotta be YouTube. That don't make sense to scratch with no microphone in. That is crazy. I apologize. Yeah, I don't know why it's scratching either. They messing up my video. They like doing that to me sometimes, I guess. I don't know why. Well, listen on another device. Let me see real quick. Because y'all might hear me repeat myself real quick. Troubleshoot. Is that university not taking? It is scratching. A longer topic, but not as really, but it's okay. So-called cuts. It really was a hope. And then they didn't lose their money. Yeah, it is scratching. Let me see. Let's try that. It's there. Yeah, I can definitely hear it. But it's a little annoying, you know. That's the stuff you really want to work on, fix. Yeah, I can definitely hear it. But it's a little annoying, you know. That's the stuff you really want to work on, fix. Yeah, it's there. It's definitely there. So, all right, let's keep going. We'll just have to brace through it. I had some videos like that before. I think that's a YouTube thing. I thought it was me, but I guess it's yeah, it could be me. Could be the phone, ain't no telling. But that's what we're gonna upgrade anyway. So hopefully we won't have to keep hearing that. So, but okay. So back to the NSF. The legislation earmarks on $9 billion for the NSF. Okay, that was redundant a little bit. The legislation earmarks $9 billion for the NSF. What area skinny budget proposal Trump put forth in May? Right, we talked about that. He wanted to cut to 3.7. Okay. Are y'all just showing us what y'all posted before? Because Chronicle Higher Education loves to do that. They like to give you articles they already talked about and just to re-examine to remake their claim. And I'm all for it, but we don't need that right now. All right. They said what to watch for with this. So they said the bill approved by Senate Appropriations Committee must be approved by the full Senate. For all my politicians out there who know deeply about politics, it says the bill approved by the Senate Appropriations Committee must be approved by the full Senate and reconciled with the House's version of the same bill. A House Appropriations Subcommittee has proposed a $7 billion budget. Right. representing a 23% cut. That bill would keep NASA's funding flat and slash NOAA's budget. So, ooh, I think. Drop my pen. I think. Huh. Okay. You got me thinking when they said keep NASA's budget flat or keep their funding flat, huh? And slash the NOAA's budget for operations, research, and facilities by 6%. So, okay, the budget will then head to President Trump's desk. The 2026 fiscal year begins on October 1st. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So, guys, based off my military experience, yes. So, October 1st. This is no secret. Everybody know about this when the president, the executive level does their budget. We know about that, right? The fiscal budget. When that comes up, it's October 1st. Everything pretty much is going to reset. That's for 2026. So that's gonna be like, shoot, I don't want to confuse myself because I'll be asking my sergeant multiple times. I'll be like, what's going on? And then they be like, yeah, the new budget coming on. Because I don't know, like, when this upcoming October come up, I don't know if we're still on the Biden administration. Help me out in the chat if you are there, G. But I believe 2025 that's coming up in October. I believe that's still the Biden administration. And then when 2026 come around, right, we go into 2026. Then October kicks in 2026. That October 1st, 2026 will be Trump's fiscal year, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll still be under Biden. And why is that important? Because that determines all the funding allocation. Like we said, when they were cutting things, like look, when they said we're taking money from what's something they took money from? Like healthcare. They sliced all the healthcare funding, money. That's what they were taking money from. And then they took that money and put it in something else like DOD, Department of Defense. They put it in defense. I said that fast. They put it in defense. So like just for example, right? And you're gonna see a big, which can help people out there. Disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor, but which helps people with investing because they see where the president or the executive level is putting their money at. So that could be a reflection of what stocks are going to benefit with government contracts like Elon and these other big companies and stuff who get government contracts and all that stuff, right? So that's why I say education is important. And that the NSF is very important because when you cut research, like I said, when you cut research and you cut grants, you're cutting people jobs. And when you cut people jobs and research, then we are going to be naive to situations that we should have known 3 to 5 years ago. So it's good that we got people out there fighting for it, trying to keep it up, trying to keep it there. And that was just a little bit about NSF. Stepped out of my comfort zone a little bit to try to see what they had going on because it's not really my main go-to, right? We already know my main go-to is like, it hasn't really been that much. I've been hearing things about, has anybody heard about the George, what's that school? George Mason, I think? That's the school. Where is it? Let me see. They wrote about it last. I didn't talk about it because I thought it was I didn't really think it was a hit, something really worth. Okay. So they said right here, George Mason investigation. So they had another incident about their president, I think. They said their president was being discriminated against. Like, yeah. And it's on the .gov website. They said the Justice Department launches second investigation into George Mason University. And like, the reason I talk about this because this is not my area, right? It's about civil rights. It's about discrimination and things of that nature. And I tell people there are people in these jobs that fight for knowing the proper like terms of prejudice, races, and breaking down these situations to see if it's really being discrimination. And I like to have more professionals on in the future who can help us navigate that because it's a lot of that in higher education when it goes into what your admissions, when it goes into your like applying to the school. And I never worked in admissions personally. And I feel like if I did, I would be talking about it a lot more if I had actually worked in admissions because admissions gets a little tricky because they get to see admissions get to see how much you make, what your family background is, and this and that, that and that. And I already got some things on there that I know I'll be like, why they asking this question? Why they asking that question? This has nothing to do with coming to the school or, if anything, trying to determine who gets in. But I never worked in admission, so I'm not even going to speak heavily into it. But they did say right here, I gotta read this. The United States Department of Justice, as I just said, announced an investigation into whether the public Virginia University discriminated against students based on their race. Now we don't know which way, but based on their race when making admissions and scholarship offers, and how it responded to allegations of campus, you know, anti-Semitism. Just making sure I pronounce that right. I don't want nobody coming to get me. He don't know how to da da da. Whoa. Just some words you just stay away from in life. Some words you stay away. Look, they don't want to say it on. Some words you just gotta stay away from and let the people have. Hold on.
Anti-Semitism.
That word, anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism, yeah. So, I want to make sure I say that right. You know me, I'm going to make sure I say everything right before I just embark it. So, they said last week the Justice Department hit the institution with an employment discrimination probe amid concerns the Trump administration is working to force out. Oh, wow. So, the Trump administration is working to force out President Gregory Washington. I didn't know the Trump administration was working. I didn't know this. I did not know this. This is getting interesting right now. As you could tell, I'm looking it up. I did not know this. I didn't know the Trump administration was working to get him out, get him ousted. Okay. Who is this? Oh, okay. This is interesting. So I think they said, all right, so we got to remember, guys, the Department of Education, Trump administration, is saying you cannot use pretty much, if you come from a struggle, pretty much, you cannot be saying that you come from a struggle, pretty much, in an easy way to say this. You cannot say you're coming from a struggle, that you had a disadvantage to get into a college. They do not want to hear that no more. That's not me. That's what they're saying. And so I think this is why George Mason University, this is why they're being targeted. Now they're being targeted. Another school essentially being targeted by the Trump administration. And I'm assuming it's in regards to what DEI related things, which is it's like really reversed out here on a lot of things. That's why I'm like, So I actually want to see, okay, let's see if they're talking about this being, no, they didn't specify, but it just says about because of their race, color, or national origin. And they said the United States is committed to keeping our universities free of such biases. So We will hopefully stay in the loop on that because George Mason University ain't looking good. And that president 9 times out of 10, if Trump coming for them, I won't be surprised if that guy is saying he's stepping down. I won't be surprised. He probably gonna be stepped down by the end of this week, either the end of this week or next week. If not, definitely before the start of school. But hopefully they can withstand that. I hate that they have. I hate that they have that happening. Let's keep going. Some more other side stories in here. Before I jump to, cause what we at? We're like on. We ain't even touched the hour yet. I don't think. No, we ain't touched the hour yet. And I hate that our video was doing that today. I might reset the phone when we get off the live screen. I appreciate you for telling us that though. So as we keep going, not much about budgets today that I can expand on. Everything is really today. I think my sources, they were focusing on DEI related things this today for sure, because I could just tell it's a lot of court cases in here, DEI, more than usual petitions, so which is understandable. It's what's going on, but like I said, we gotta focus on how we can navigate higher education. All these things, I'm not gonna say distractions, they're very much needed. I'm just gonna say kids right now who are coming into school, who are getting ready to, next month, they have move-in days and stuff. Next month, kids who are getting ready to move into college, they're getting ready to move into their dorms, to get their meal plans. They don't need to be worrying about all of this going on right now. They're 18. They have a lot of naiveness naturally, and they just need to know how they can save a lot of money in college and get a great return on investment in college. Unfortunately, they probably won't be able, like I said before, they won't be able to see this in time. They probably won't. They probably won't catch this until their junior year, senior year. And who knows? Hopefully, not that much later when they graduate. But we just want to make sure they have moves. Like they should know the start of the 2 year and bridge to a 4 year. We gotta say that every day. We gotta say it all the time. We gotta say it till our neck hurt. We gotta say it till our head hurt. We gotta say it so much. We want somebody to come into this live screen and say 2 years suck. I don't know why people go there. We need people like that to come in here. And when we don't have people barking at us, getting mad at us, we're not doing something right, you know? We're not doing something right if we don't have people coming in here, coming at us, saying, you don't know what you're talking about. A 4 year is better than a 2 year. We need to get people in here. That's why we say start at a 2 year and bridge to a 4 year. And then we need to make it to where they just be like, I got played. Because sometimes you got to realize I got played. I got played in life. Like, I got played. You know, I thought other people were supposed to help me become wealthy in life. That was a thought in my mind early on. You know, of course, like between 18 to the age I am now, I thought I was supposed to get help. People supposed to help me make return on investments. People supposed to help me avoid loans and stuff. No. That's when I learned, like, oh, okay. Okay, I see. I see what they're doing. Okay. So, I just got to know, like, yeah. I just got to know that stuff. 2 year to 4 year, man. It's that simple. 2 year to 4 year. And I have not seen anything. Actually, I did. I'm glad I thought about that. I'm glad I said that. I did see something on LinkedIn, actually. And I'm about to go crazy on this. This is going to lead into the Harvard. It's going to lead into Harvard, for sure. if this college is stalking me. I see this college all the time on LinkedIn. I would never. I need to go. I ain't gonna lie though. I do want to go visit some museums though in Alabama, cause where I'm from, Alabama is like right across the bridge. It's one of the luxuries I do appreciate. Alabama is right across the bridge. Like it's pretty, underrated. So as I'm loading up, cause this was it. It gave me an opportunity. It provided me an opportunity. So, right here, and you know I'm about to click on the post. Come on. All right, check this out. So, Northwestern University. Has anybody ever heard of that school, first and foremost? Northwestern University. As I do this. And Northwestern University is a private school. And I would say, I can't say nothing because they private. They know what they doing. But, yeah, we about to get them. So Northwestern University, this might be the school we do our review on. As a matter of fact. This will be our school we do our review on. So Northwestern University. LinkedIn. This is where I saw this at. So Northwestern University they're about to build the most expensive college football stadium ever. They said at over an $860 million projected cost. It's over $860 million projected cost. The new home of Chicago's Big Ten team will sit just 35,000 people to feature a better viewing experience for every fan. For every fan. A brand new football stadium. The most expensive ever football field, or most expensive football stadium. Now, why do I have a problem with this? Not the football. Why do I have a problem with them building the most expensive football stadium? I have a problem with it because the students will have to pay for this. You are about to pay for this new most expensive student. If you go to Northwestern University, you as a student you are about to pay for every little penny. I don't care if they say alumni put money in. I know you're about to pay for it. Their football team is not that good, first and foremost. I have never heard anybody say, I'm a Northwestern University football fan, and I'm about to go look up their football schedule. Because this is what I be talking about, where it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Real quick. And they probably had I guarantee they probably had I can't even guarantee. I'm sure they probably had a good record last year. So they went all in on a football stadium. Let's go back 1 year. All right, check this out. Northwestern University, this is what I've been talking about. It's just like reading, all right, disclaimer, not financial advice, but I have to do this. This is all important. It's all related to higher education. So please show this to people. Please show this to people. I feel like this live stream been good, moderate, good. Because look, Northwestern University football team is they went 4-8 last year. 4-8. They went 4-8. But they're getting the most expensive football stadium projected. They went 4-8. All right, let's go to 2023. They went 8-5. They went 8-5. I'm gonna go back to 2022. It just proving my point. They went 1-11 in 2022. They won one game. Gotta take my glasses off. I don't think y'all can see me. Northwestern University football team in 2022 won one game. But they're about to build the most expensive football stadium. When you lose and your team is not really good in football or any sport, nobody goes to these games. You're not even getting televised like TV time. Let's keep going. I'm gonna do the basic historical review, doing my homework, just like I do with stocks and companies. 2022, 1-11. They had one positive record so far. Out of this 5 years, we're going back 5 years on the company. This is what people don't want to realize. This is what people don't want to hear. All right. They went 3-9 in 2021. This is hilarious because it just proves that I'm not gonna say I'm right. I'm just making sense of the whole situation, right? In 2020, pandemic year, they went 7-2 during the pandemic year. So out of the last 5 years, they had 2 winning seasons. 2 winning seasons, guys. In order to even, the whole point is they didn't make no major leap to be in the national playoffs. I believe it's playoffs now. They didn't make no leaps at winning the Natty, the ultimate championship. They probably had some bowl games. This is looking like a how they're about to spend a very lot of money on this stadium, but it's gonna be a lot of negative ripple effects in the years coming for students. And so, guys, they have not made no big strides to get a freaking most expensive, going back to our main purpose, to get a stadium that costs $860 million and being the most expensive ever. They said it's been a year since the groundbreaking and about 15 months remain until the stadium expected its launch in fall 2026. Right here, they talking about the CEO. We don't care. All right, this makes a big deal. It says in 2021, I don't know who this family is, but it says the CEO of Ryan Sports Development and son of the Fields something, but CEO of Ryan Sports. They said in 2021, the Ryan family donated $480 million to the funding of the new stadium. So they paid for a good chunk of it. The cost of the stadium is fully funded by private backers. Private backers, this not gonna end well. I'm telling you guys, because private backers, when they said donated, but and then they said funded by private backers. When the other portion is funded by private backers, if the private backers don't, it's all about money at the end of the day, guys. Ain't nobody doing this out the kindness of their heart, especially for a football program that has not been winning in the last 5 years. Let alone, we didn't even go back 10 years. We just went back 5 years. So they might have been better 10 years ago, but 5 years they not good. And so usually they do this to hopefully get a return on investment or some perks or something. And if it doesn't pan out well, you got to raise the student athletic fee, the student mandatory fee, the students. I hope they don't raise your tuition because it is, but definitely those mandatory fees, which weigh a toll, because students at universities pay thousands of dollars, literally thousands of dollars for fees. And so as we keep going, they set the budget now. So the stadium is expected to be the most expensive college stadium in the country, and the price tag has increased slightly since last year. Reported by a nice round number, $850 million. Ryan tells FOS the budget is now $862 million, $6 million more than the original allocation for the stadium. And then it's a lot of other stuff in here I think we don't need to really know. So apparently they say Michigan Stadium. We already talked about University of Michigan, but they said the University of Michigan sits 3 times more people. But the whole ordeal about this is that this stadium is it's gonna be a bad result. Northwestern University. I wrote it down. I wrote it down. So when this come back up, maybe some years from now, definitely be able to clip it. But definitely Northwestern University is gonna be the school we review. I think it's outrageous and I think it's crazy. Just a bit that they're about to have the most expensive stadium because they still didn't tell us where the other portion of the money came from. They said backed by private investors, like essentially investors. But yeah, we'll sit on that. I'm willing to sit on that and see how that turns out. All right, so Harvard, the main ordeal, the meat and potatoes of this topic. Harvard. The risk reward of Harvard. So Harvard, this was breaking news actually. The federal judge offered pointed questions about the Trump administration's justification for stripping Harvard's university's research funding. So for everybody who's new or might not know that Harvard and Trump been going at it, they've been duking it out for since Trump got in office pretty much. They've been duking it out. So dang, it's almost gonna be a year already. Oh, that's crazy. And so they've been duking it out. But the judge didn't rule. I'm gonna give you the short version real quick. The judge didn't rule, and so far she's questioning the government, the executive level, essentially the Trump administration level. She's questioning that they didn't. She's questioning that they didn't follow proper procedures. They didn't follow protocol on stripping away Harvard's funding. They just pretty much took them to court, took the money, and said, "Hi, but if you want to fight about it, we'll go to court with you." Or if Harvard doesn't comply and do what the Trump administration wants, we're definitely not gonna give you back your research funding. So that's why Harvard said we'll take you to court. We got lawyers. We got some of the best lawyers. I just saw a post on LinkedIn that Harvard has one of the best law schools. So let's see how real good their law school is in this court case. So let's go through some main points. So is this an article? It's a report, but I didn't see that. So it says Harvard argues the administration ran they ran this like what's that word? A roughshod, they said, pretty much. They didn't do this with no structure. They didn't do standard procedures. That's what they saying the administration did. It says, as I said before, it's saying that they have not been keeping the campus, of course, with some DEI and wrongful protesting, to the administration eyes, saying that them students cannot do that. It's related to that. But it's a lot of jumbleness. It's gonna sound crazy coming out of my mouth because I'm like, you like what? You here? You there? You there? I'm like, this is literally what's going on. And so, the Trump administration maintains it as the power to withhold spending. So the government does not want to fund research at institutions that fail to address what's that word? Say it for me. Where is it? Loading. My computer make me look so bad sometimes. I'll be like loading and then I'll be hoping it just pop up and say this right here. Anti-Semitism. So going back to my report. It's taking forever to load and it's right here. So anti-Semitism to its satisfaction. So that's been the big ordeal. Harvard feels like it's not anti-Semitism. Trump feels like it is anti-Semitism. And Trump said, well, if you don't feel like it is or it's not, I'm taking away your research funding. And then once again, Harvard does some very good research. All schools that are like, to me, known for research, R1, maybe R2, they do really good research. And remember, when you take away our research, that's going to limit us on getting information. Us, like information that can help you change the world, make the world better, or help you change your family life, income levels. It can, whichever you plan to use research for and read it and use it, that's what it could do for you. And so the government does not want does not want Harvard to get their research. And so yeah, let's keep going. It says you're saying you can terminate a contract for any and all reasons. That's the I don't know who they didn't really say they were quoting somebody, but that's how it starts off. So I don't want you thinking I'm just saying that. You're saying you can terminate a contract for any and all reasons. I believe this is the judge words. And then federal judge too, federal. They said even the reason you are given is a violation of the Constitution. Wow. Burroughs asked. Burroughs is the federal judge, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Judge Allison Burroughs. So Burroughs said that, or she asked, you're saying you can terminate a contract for any and all reasons, even if the reason you're given is a violation of the Constitution, question mark. And then she also said she struggled with the idea that the executive branch can decide what is discriminatory, yeah, without any procedure around it, which is valid. And so this right here is crazy. This is what I wanted to tell you all and find. This is the part I wanted to find. I wanted to find this post. So Trump said, they said he posted this. What he posted this on? He wrote on social media. He said, they said Trump is not waiting for a decision. Apparently, Trump is not waiting for a decision. They said Trump is not waiting for a decision to start working the court of public opinion. It says when the judge rules against us, we will immediately appeal and win. He wrote on social media. Also, the government will stop. He said the government will stop the practice of giving billions of dollars to Harvard, much of which has been given without explanation. And then something along the lines of like, look, Trump said we will immediately appeal and then we will win. Simple like that. He said so the judge, he's pretty much saying the judge can do whatever they want. Like, they can do whatever they want, but you're not going to get your funding, Harvard. You're not going to get your funding. Because he said if we appeal, we win, you're definitely not going to get it. But it says on the other side of it that Harvard is considering to what? Take a settlement. Harvard is considering to settle. But it's that's why I say risk reward, because if Harvard lose, guys, Harvard won't get their billions of dollars. So this is really a big deal because Harvard won't be able to do a lot of research, and they'll be what? Laying people off. They have money. Like some previous articles said before, Harvard has enough money set aside to last them like years, but they will feel the effects of it soon. But that's billions of dollars of research that the Trump administration will hold. So if this judge does not make a decision, because I believe they said the judge did not make a decision, and I'm going to go to the breaking news because I believe that's what it said when it hit my phone. Breaking news: in key court showdown with Harvard, Trump administration encounters a skeptical judge. It said the judge did not issue a ruling Monday, right, which is yesterday. They did not rule anything Monday in the closely watched fight over more than $2 billion in canceled federal research funding. They said, but she said the government's arguments raise mind-blowing questions. She needs to make a rule, but Trump already said once again that I will appeal this and then I'm going to win. And so I don't know. I feel like Harvard should, I would say, settle, but it's not what they believe in. They believe in their core values of their school, and I get it. But if they're going to lose billions of dollars and they can't do nothing about it, they can do an appeal too. But it's like, you got to think about the situation. That's why I don't get that deep into it, because I'm like, they got to come to a deal or agreement, man. Because at the end of the day, he will not give them back their $1 billion in research and funds. And so I want to go look for this post. They said Trump posted on it. I want to see what he really said, if there's more to it. Let me see. They say he posted this on social media. I'm gonna use this verbiage right here. They look like they quoted that. All right. Wow. He said a lot. See, that's why we always like going to the post. So it says right here, Trump, he said the Harvard case was just tried in Massachusetts, if I say that right, before an Obama-appointed judge. This is Trump. I quote Donald Trump. He said, she is a total disaster, which I say even before hearing her ruling. She has systematically taken over various Harvard cases and is an automatic loss for the people of our country. Harvard has $52 billion sitting in the bank, and yet they are, he's saying they're anti-this. I'm not going to say that. He said they're anti-this, anti-that, anti-this. And then he was like, much of this money comes from the United States of America. All to what's that word you use? Trump ain't the biggest. His wordplay like mine sometimes. Like, I give it grace, because I be like, who am I? But I'm gonna go past that word, because this post, he posted this. I knew it was more to the post, and then he said, it's a detriment for other schools, colleges, and institutions, and we are not going to allow this unfair situation to happen any longer. How did this Trump-hating judge get these cases? I quote Trump. How did this Trump-hating judge get these cases? When she rules against us, we will immediately appeal and win. Also, the government will stop the practice of giving many billions of dollars to Harvard, much of which had been given without explanation. It is a long-time commitment to fairness and funding education, and the Trump administration will not stop until there is a victory. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So that is what Trump posted on X. And I figured it was a lot more. And it was a lot more. And that came from our president. So why is this important? Because, guys, if Harvard can't withstand going to court, because you got to think, this is the government. Like, they got unlimited money. Like, they said it, like, it was one article that said that before. They said the government got unlimited money. It was talking about, like, federal money. And it was like, nothing can beat federal money. Nothing can. And they just have unlimited money to keep going to court. If they lose, they can go back until the judge rules, of course, and then can get appeal. And then I'm not sure, after an appeal, I had to ask some lawyers, some politicians, some lawyers for sure. Like, hey, if they appeal and lose again? Can they keep appealing until they win? And then it's like, I'm pretty sure some people be like, yeah, they can keep appealing. I'm like, can they? Because I don't know if Harvard got the money to keep going to court. That's what I'm saying. And it's just like, it's not looking right. It's not looking well. So the bigger picture right now is that decisions in either case seem headed for appeal. So like that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I feel like Harvard would definitely make an appeal if they lost. They said decisions in either case seem headed for appeal, and Harvard is said to be in settlement talks. So they are considering to settle. Harvard is in settlement talks even as it proceeds with its lawsuit against the government. But the facts and arguments of both cases will nonetheless help dictate just how much leverage the Trump administration has in its quest to recast higher ed. Because if you can take out Harvard, you can take out anybody. And that's what some schools are kind of on the fence watching. Like, if he take out them and they couldn't fight them in the courtroom, if Harvard settles, everybody else got to settle. So then that makes your school, like one of my people in the chat, G, said, that's going to make your school kiss the ring. And I asked that question to one of my people on the live screen. I said, do you think schools should just bow down and follow Trump? Like just do what he says so they can avoid getting their research or funds stripped? Some schools, guys, can't live without the federal money. They can't. So you think, I'm gonna ask you, you really think the Trump administration really cares if a college shut down? You got to really be realistic here. Think this is some real, like, I really want to cuss to get my point across, but this is some real, like, going on. And then this is real. And Harvard is in talks of a settlement, even though, which is part of mediating. They're like in talks to like, look, bro, give us 950 million. We'll settle with you. But it's really interesting because people are going to be blindsided if Harvard settles, or they don't have enough fighting power. We are going to see a ripple effect across all higher ed institutions, mostly universities, and some Ivies as well, because this is an Ivy. And like he said, Trump said it in his post that Harvard has. He said, I don't know how true this is. He's known for throwing out those. He's a very good trash talker. But Trump said Harvard has $52 billion sitting in the bank. He said that. I don't doubt it because Harvard actually, fun fact, Harvard has one of the largest real estate portfolios in higher education. Their real estate portfolio is crazy. So, which means they get tax exempt on a lot of things as well. So, if Harvard can't withstand this, a lot of schools going to have to bow down and kiss the ring, as G said. So, I did want to talk about that. Right here, we got a question from Alex Marie. Let me see. As I'm going to it. Hey, shout out. We had 26 views. We had 26 views in here. Oh, man. Shout out to that. Appreciate everybody stopping by. I don't know how long it says y'all stopped by for 5 minutes. Whoever came in here. People that kept coming in. We appreciate that. Alice Marie said never back down or never bow down. Then Alice Marie said they take away the money, then what? Where will it go? I don't know where the money will go, personally, because that's money that's supposed to be research funded. Could it go to another school? We don't know if that money is only for, at this point, we don't know if the money is only for higher education or is it only for a particular school. This money is research funding, so they could take the $1 billion back and put it into, possibly, I could be wrong, possibly they could take the money and add it to Trump's fiscal year upcoming budget for 2026, fiscal year 2026. We talked about that a little bit before in the live stream, like this live stream, that when October 1st hit, we're under a new fiscal year budget, and I think this upcoming one will still be under Biden. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alice Marie. Alice Marie, I believe this upcoming October will still be under Biden's fiscal year budget, and then when 2026 come around, we'll be under Trump's fiscal year budget. And so all it does gives him more money to allocate money to things he wants. And that's the whole ordeal of getting money from places he feels, or the Trump administration feels, that is not important. So, appreciate that, because I'm navigating this too. So, yeah, money probably go to his fiscal year budget. That's probably where it would go. Which is, like I said, it's not good, because it's right now we haven't even been in a year yet with the Department of Education, the Trump administration. So they haven't hit the schools with money that they really want. Harvard, I think they went straight for Harvard. I think we all know why they went straight for Harvard. They went straight for Harvard because it's an easy, like, you knock down Harvard, you can knock down anybody, right? And it's just a conversation to have, because students might be wondering why prices are going up. This is going to be a macroeconomic effect that is going to trickle down to the micro people. I love saying macro and micro, because macro is wide, like big effects that trickles down to the smaller micro people like us. Like, so, and in schoolhouses, it's college schoolhouses, and people are quick to say, like, people who work in higher education now, like who work on the lower level, they're like, oh no, that won't happen, and it will happen. Put your chickens to the side. It will happen, my higher education professionals. I think the only people who are gonna be safe is the athletes out of all of this. In college, professional sports, they will probably gonna be the only ones good. Athlete, because sports gonna still come on during Christmas. Sports gonna still come on during holidays. Sports gonna still come on during when there's wildfires, earthquakes, tornadoes, protesting. Sports gonna come on. They're probably the only people that's gonna be good and safe. But for people that really make a difference in the world, frontliners, firefighters, and many more, everybody gets affected. So, and it all starts with education. And I think that's what we do on this channel. Remember, started a 2-year bridge to a 4-year. Because right now, you don't want to be caught up in the crossfire of your school raising these tuition prices on you while you're trying to get your education. You do not want to be caught in the crossfire. You do not. And so, I'm just trying to look out for you all. That's all. And, save your parents some money, save you some money as a student if you're on your own right away. Because we're going to start seeing the ripple effects. And so I just got to be ahead of the curve, be talking about it. And, before it blows up, I really think the bubble is getting closer day by day. I really think the bubble is getting closer. Yeah. All right. We're making good progress right now. Now we have to do our review of Northwestern University. So for anybody in here, Alice Marie, we talked about Northwestern University. They are building the most expensive football stadium of all time. And they had got the money from, they say they got all the money from a donor. The donor donated $480 million. That's what they said. It came from a particular family. I actually want to look that family up after this live stream. They donated a lot of money. They did. So we're going to review that school. That school is private, but as we said before. Oh, and by the way, this school football team in the last 5 years only had 2 winning records, which is terrible. 1 year, they only won. 1 year, they won 1 game. So we're about to do a review of the school. We're going to see, is it worth it? Because I just wouldn't put a football team in a big stadium to lose. I just wouldn't do that. So, but Northwestern got money, so they hopefully they got some NIL players because that can make a big difference in I guess recruitment. So let's go. Start a 2-year, bridge to a 4-year. Start a 2-year, bridge to a 4-year. If you don't start a 2-year, you know the rest. Start a 2-year, bridge to a 4-year. Under articulation agreement, pathway agreement. You got to do that. Where's the scorecard? Let's type this in. Let's do our last thing. This live screen was pretty good. Pretty good and moderate. Pretty good and moderate. And then you know one thing about trying to look up schools, they make it real like I swear like it takes a longer time. Northwestern University. I yawned. I think this is them right here. They're in Illinois, Cook County, Illinois. Why is there so many Northwestern universities? Oh my goodness. All right, we got a problem. Where is this school located? Okay, that's the Evanston. I was gonna say, where is it located? And then I need to see your tuition and ease. Yowza. Well, they definitely making the money. As I tell people, until I see their enrollment drop, keep doing what you're doing, Northwestern. Yowza. Alright, they're on the quarter system. They do quarter. Interesting. So, first and foremost, they're on the quarter system, but they helped me out. They made it worse on themselves a little bit because they got the total right here for the year. So we'll just do that. They got the housing in there and everything. So the cost of the school on their website. If you go to Northwestern University, you are going to pay $96 grand for the year. So for this 25-26 school year, you're looking at paying 96 grand. 96 grand. And honestly, guys, this school is a private school, but I don't know what Northwestern University is known for, unless people just go there just to go there. Like, it's one of those private schools. So let's start. So I'm looking at the University Department, the United States Department of Education of Northwestern University. They say they have about 9,000 students. It's a private nonprofit. It's in the city. They have a 96% graduation rate. It's really good. And they say the average annual cost is $27,000 a year based on the financial aid. Because you got to remember, I think financial aid discounts the price a lot because they're like, you're going to get some need-based scholarships, you're going to get financial aid, you're going to get this and that. So they dropped the sticker price on the U.S. Department of Education College Scorecard. I'm just start saying the College Scorecard. So on our College Scorecard, the sticker price is $27,000, but on the school website it's 96 grand. So what I do want to do, I do want to look at who are their noble alumni, because they have a very high graduation rate, and I don't want to be naive to the like. If you have a high graduation rate, you're a private school, and you're so hopefully y'all know for y'all academics, and y'all have a good Google review. By the way, they have a good review. So oh, okay. So Hugh Hefner went to this school. Patricia Neal, I don't know her. Stephen Colbert, he went here. Who is Stephen Colbert? I feel like I've seen that guy before. Is he an actor or something? Yep, he's a comedian and writer. I feel like I've seen him before. Oh, he actually just got canceled. Yeah. Oh, wow. Stephen Colbert mocked CBS reasoning for canceling The Late Show. No, he didn't get canceled. Oh, no, he did get canceled. Yeah, he did get canceled. Yes, Colbert just got canceled. Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, he went to this school. And apparently he told Trump to go F himself. Okay. Okay, this is getting... Oh, wow. Okay, well... Okay. Next person. David Schirmer. He's a American actor and director. Oh wow, guys. Hold on real quick. I think we got a clip. Right quick. I think we got a clip real quick. So y'all are crazy in the chat. Hold on, let me plug this up. Tell us what's important. A curated list of 8 network providers. Explore your matches and pick the provider that feels like the best fit for you. Let me plug that up real quick. This just took a turn. Hold on right quick. Okay. David Schirmer reconnects with his college improved buddy Stephen Colbert. So I think David Schirmer and Stephen Colbert went to the same. I think they went to the same. I think they was at college at the same time. Let me say that. But I am doing a review right now, and then we're gonna watch this clip afterwards. It's 5 minutes. So if I feel like they're not talking about much, you know, we won't play that much. Lord, the pronunciations. I know David Sherman. I don't know. That's a difficult little last name right there. And I'm just butchering it, I know. So they say if you go to Northwestern University, I'm a little hyped with them right now, because they say if you go here, you're gonna have a return. They say your annual salary after you go to Northwestern University, after being 10 years removed, you're gonna make over 90 grand, or you're gonna make less than 90 grand. But you should be right at 90 grand after being 10 years removed from the institution. That's very good. That's per U.S. Department of Education College Scorecard. So Northwestern University must be known for some things we don't know about, that they should highlight. So I'm trying to figure out what are they known for. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna type in on Google what is you know, because like if they can justify you're making all this money, but you're paying all this money to go here, then you got to be worth something before I give you a C or F. So what is Northwestern University known for? They said they're known for strong academic reputation. Okay. Particularly in areas like journalism, which makes sense because Stephen Colbert, that's what he did essentially when he worked on broadcasting and communication, journalism, communication, essentially like kind of what I'm doing, I guess. That's engineering and music. So they also are recognized for rigorous research, particularly in neuroscience, nanotechnology, and biotechnology. Additionally, Northwestern is a founding member of the Big Ten. We don't care about that part. They terrible at football. But didn't know that. Okay, didn't know that. That's a little overview. But And then I'm gonna go to their school website. See, I'm just getting facts from the school website, guys. All you have to do is type this in on Google. And then, of course, when you look in my description and use the creditors and use the scorecard, it makes it a lot easier. So they got some rankings. I don't really get caught up in rankings. We like to see the results, like who are your people that went here doing amazing things. So they're saying some of their people won Grammys. Yeah, some people won Grammys. They're represented on Broadway heavily. And they're not using fancy names, like Grammy is a fancy name, but I got an opinion on that. But Grammy's a Grammy. And they're using like Broadway, which is very good because Broadway, you know, it's tough. Broadway is tough. What else? Okay. So they seem like they're a really good prestige school. Okay. So, but that price though, okay, let's keep going. So, we talked about the costs. So their retainability, they're showing me a lot of A's. I'm not gonna lie, guys, they're showing me a lot of A's. 96% on graduation rate. Their retainability is 98%. Students who stay after their first year is 98%. It's very good. And we talked about the earnings, the debt part. They saying that you're only gonna have a 15K debt. So that means they're offering something I don't know about for you only to come out with $15,000 in student loan debt. And then they said right here, only 19% of the students receive federal loans. So remember, they're private, so they are particular with students who they get. So, but they do say right here that 86 is very good. 86% of their students will earn more than a high school graduate. That's very good. Might as well give them a 90 on that. And then right here they say, look, Northwestern has an acceptance rate of 7%. So they're very picky about who gets in. And they consider SAT and ACT, but they do not require them, as we said before, because what schools need students at the end of the day. Even though some schools are doing real good, they still need to keep that pipeline of students coming in. After looking at this, and their noble alumni, and I don't really know who's like, I like to look at the younger people who are going there doing things. I'm gonna do one more type in. I'm gonna say Northwestern University alumni. I'm gonna do that. And sometimes they'll give us some people. And so I can go to their nah, we ain't gonna do that. But to rate this school though, Northwestern University, I'm gonna give them a B. I'm gonna give them a B because they're private for one, but they have very good, according to the College Scorecard, they have a very high graduation rate, which means you're learning and you're staying. And then they're saying you're gonna make about 90 grand after leaving their institution, which means they have a strong network and reputation. And the price to go there though is crazy. That's why they're a B. I almost gave them a C, but they're a B because they're saying like you're gonna spend 96 grand here a year. I do think you should transfer there. You should, if you know you're gonna do. They say they're known for communications and journalism, which is like essentially broadcasting. If you know you got a career in broadcasting, you might be in YouTube down the lane, starting your own media company in the future. Started a 2-year and possibly bridge to this school. This school is in Illinois. So I will say, like, if they have that strong reputation, I would love to do an inside look at this school myself. I would love to, like to. But I'll get them a B. I would transfer here, and I don't know what benefits I would get, but again, possibly you're gonna be taking on a lot of student loans because 96 grand in 2 years is that's ferocious. But depending on your career path, and just before you get there, ask them on the tour. Not and then even when you ask them like, do they know anybody, like people. Try to talk to people who are not doing well after going to the school, and try to talk to people who are doing well. And I know you're like, how do you talk to somebody who's not doing well? Ask the people on the campus on your college tour. Ask them like, hey, do you know anybody who graduated from here, how they're doing, what they're making, and they'll tell you. And then there are videos out there, like I see some YouTubers who try to understand higher education, but it's funny and cute. They be interviewing the college graduates, and they ask the college graduates like, what are you expecting to make after you graduate, or upon graduating, what the job market looking like. So that's one way of doing it, but not going to the graduation. But one way of, like, when you're on your college tour, just asking the college students. They're literally gonna be on campus, so just ask them like, what are you expecting to make when you graduate. And then obviously they're gonna be like, I don't know if they freshmen, sophomore, but if they seniors, if they're seniors or juniors, they know what they're expecting to make. And ask questions. No question is a bad question. So I'm gonna get them a B. Um, Still, I'm starting at a 2 year, and then if I want to be rigorous, this is like one of them rigorous situations. Um, you know, learning what I'm learning. It's a lot of merit-based scholarships and stuff out there, but then again, I probably won't transfer here, guys. I'm sorry. Knowing me, I'm frugal. I say I'll transfer here, but I'll have to be like 96 grand is crazy. So I'll probably, like, the most I would do is like a school. My tuition gotta be like 10 grand a year. Where I know, like, look, I just gotta pay this little difference. I'm sorry, 96 grand is crazy though. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I just don't know. I just know it's people out there who probably didn't benefit like this from this school. And so I just want an in-depth look at seeing, like, are more students making this money or less students making this. I got to see the statistics. So I'm going to a 2 year and I'm going to a 4 year. That's about. I'm sticking to my gut. So starting at a 2 year, bridging to a 4 year, and then if I'm in that area, I'll just go to their campus. I'll just go to their campus and make connections with the people who go there. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Like, I can't 96 grand a year. It's crazy. I can't 96 grand. Just looking at it, like 96 times 2, man, that's $192,000 in 2 years, and I transferred there. Man, they gotta have some transfer agreement for me. They gotta have articulation of pathway agreement. So I'm gonna still rate them a B though, because they seem like they're doing very well. They schools seem to be standing on business for the people that leave. They seem to have their own mindsets, which is very good. So and then Alice Marie told me, she said FDT. I think she talking about the song with the disco balls. And then Alice Marie said it's Colbert. I thought it was Colbert. It's definitely a T in there. Like and subscribe, man. Like and subscribe. Hopefully we save you money in college. We will save you money in college. Hopefully you watch. I always say watch the end. The end, we review college. We give our perspective on it. If you watch anything, try to watch that whole last segment. She says Colbert. It's French. Oh, I'm definitely saying Colbert, because I know somebody named last name Talbert, so I'm saying Colbert. See? Then it's French. I have to get savvy and more aware. Yeah, it's my pronunciation, it's my wordplay. It's all right sometimes, right? So that's all. Remember to like and subscribe, and remember, clip me up and post me on your social media. Early in it, like, I said some things in the beginning that most people might not like. So I talked about the kid who passed away in February due to hazing. About students, parents, but students more of all, because you'll be in that decision alone usually. Like, walk away. You don't have to join something for connections. Walk away. It ain't worth it. And so definitely won't forget about that. More topics on that coming if it comes up. or we hear something. We might hear something that nobody else got about an institution. So definitely that. So that is all. I appreciate everybody for coming. We'll be back here tomorrow, unless it's tomorrow, Wednesday. I have to do something Thursday, but Wednesday we will be here, and Thursday we'll be here later at a later time, depending on how long they take. But let's do it. Peace, and what's something I want to say? Peace and Colbert. Colbert.